Alephium assemble.
Hello and welcome back to Alephium Assemble. I hope you liked my little bowling animation that I made there for the intro. Why bowling, you may ask? Because Alephium dApps are on a roll, builders are ready to strike, and Carla and I will not leave any details to spare. If you love this video, you can pin it to your profile with a retweet, or you can bookmark it or like it, whatever. But yeah, there is some nice bowling puns for you. Carla, my wonderful co-host, how's it going? How are you doing?
Pepper, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Really happy to be back on another Alephium Assemble, especially after the great X Twitter space we had yesterday. And a lot of things are moving behind the scenes, so it feels a good moment to catch up because it's not holiday anymore. We are in 2026, so it's really cool to be here.
Yes, we're recording this on the 28th of January, so we're nearly at the end of the month, and it did feel like a little bit of a quiet period with the holidays, and then that start to the year, which is slow for everyone, every industry, but we're back. Things are really rolling now. It's much more exciting, not just for you guys, but for us as well. We're in the thick of it with all these dApps and all these announcements and things going on. So what will we be talking about today in this episode? Well, we'll start by talking a little bit about the X space that we had last night with Hayden from Aura Markets, and also Ron, his co-founder, who joined us a little bit later. We'll be discussing Alph.Land, which is very interesting. This is alpha, so please pay close attention. Alph.Land's getting some cool upgrades. I also want to tell you a little bit about my recent trip to Blockmountain Web3 conference in Chiang Mai, even though it was a bit of a fail. Carla, as always, has a wonderful ecosystem review prepared, and with so much going on, that's going to be the main chunk of this show. And we'll finish by giving you a little update on the core dApp road to testnet, because you may have missed a critical little detail in the recent announcements. Now, to get going with it, let's talk about this X space. So yeah, we hosted Hayden and Ron from Aura Markets, which is currently on testnet on Alephium. I've been playing it. I really like it, and I won a prediction. I won a prediction the other day, so that was fun. I'm really enjoying it, and I want to say thank you to everyone who turned up to listen to the show last night. It was a really fantastic discussion. I felt like the main thing that this episode did was help us get into Hayden and Ron's mind and understand their why are they building Aura Markets, why a decentralized prediction marketplace. They've already put out some great content on our news site, the news page, but this X space was super insightful. I was really impressed with Hayden. He has this great attention to detail. He's a real workhorse. We know that he's done a lot in a short amount of time, but he's thought of absolutely everything when it comes to the needs of a decentralized prediction marketplace. There is so much like little details that go into it. Especially when it comes to like resolution and proposing markets, and doing it all very fairly, and also incentives mechanisms is really interesting. Of course, you can go listen to it. I'm quickly recapping it here, but he did a really good job of summarizing it and explaining.
Prediction markets reward being right, but that only works if the markets themselves are credible. Most existing prediction markets rely on administrators or corporate operators or third-party resolution processes, and that creates pressure, right? What markets get listed, how outcomes are resolved, which questions are allowed to be asked. It all starts to matter more than the actual signal itself. I think that Aura fixes that at the root. It's fully community owned and community governed. Users create the markets. I know I've said this a million times, but users really do the whole process end to end. Um, and I think that decentralization isn't ideological; it's functional. When markets can't be censored, or altered, or selectively enforced, that price signal becomes far harder to manipulate. And I think that in a world drowning in engagement bait and narrative control, Aura isn't just about trading outcomes. It's about restoring a place where being right is what actually pays. Long term, I think Aura exists to make truth economically legible again, and to do that in a way where no single entity can capture or shut down when it matters most.
He did also say that some of his great ideas came from other platforms. I think he was being a bit humble. Very nice guy. Um, but yeah, nobody has put together ideas in such a way that Aura has. So there's really good reason to be excited for what's about to come. Now, of course, I mentioned Ron as well. Ron, he wasn't planned to join, but it was a pleasant surprise. He came in later, answered a couple of questions, added some more insights, and even told us more about Hayden and just how hard he works. So this is going to be a really striking, stunning DApp for the ecosystem. But yeah, I've said a lot. I won't say too much more. I will say the recording feature of XSpace did work this time. Hooray! Yeah, we got rugged by XSpaces last time, which everybody does at some point, almost every single episode. But it worked. The recording's there. It's on our profile. You can go and have a look on X. Have a good listen. It's almost an hour long, but it's really good. You will hear that the Blockflow DAO donated 37,500 Aura, which is like over $100. I think it's about $110, which is a nice, generous gift. That was split between 5 lucky winners. They had to listen for a password and then go to presenceprotocol.com, which is an Alephium ecosystem DApp, and mint an NFT. And then yeah, they got in for a lucky draw, and I believe those winners are being announced today, but if you're watching this, that was a week ago, so you will know already if you won or not. Carla, did you learn anything new about Aura, Hayden, or Ron from the episode?
Yeah, of course, it was really interesting XSpace. I learned a lot about their vision. I understand the difference between centralized and decentralized, but I didn't realize that it was at this point really important. And so they have a vision where they want to build this decentralized prediction market. So it's really interesting. And also we had a good discussion, for the future of the prediction market, because it's going to be a revolution for all the statistic data, because now they use more prediction markets to understand statistics than just older statistic modeled with just traditional media. So I think it's really interesting subject. I loved this XSpace, and I really liked their vision. I think Aura, they have a good future in front of them.
I agree. Like it's exciting for them. I am excited for them and all of the users. So now we just have to wait for testnet to conclude, and they can go to mainnet, and then we can start to see the fruits of their labor. We can get deeper insights and new upgrades. Actually, speaking of deeper insights and new upgrades, Carla, I believe there's some exciting news about Alph.Land. Could you reveal the alpha, please?
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to take a quick moment to talk about Alph.Land, because it's a good example of things we are working on behind the scene, but we don't always show what we are working on. But for those who remember it, or for newcomers, Alph.Land is our DApp Explorer. So it's the place where all Alephium dApps are listed and discoverable. Originally, Alph.Land was built by a community member, Fugashu. So shout out to him. Thanks for this tool. And with his agreement, we took over the project, and we are now actively working on improving it and pushing it further. I'm head of ecosystem, and right now I'm a bit like a product manager. So the goal is simple: is to make Alph.Land better, clearer, and more useful for all the ecosystem. So we are updating existing listing, slightly reworking on the design and adding new features. One important addition will be a resources section with curated articles, videos, and guides selected by us and by the community and directly linked to each DApp. So when you want to use a DApp and you don't know where to find the information, you could find it easily on Alph.Land, and immediately how to start and where to start. Also, each DApp will have a clear presentation. Another big feature is coming is bounties. So projects will be able to sponsor bounties, whether it's content related or development related, and the community, everyone will be able to participate directly. And just to be very clear, Alph.Land is built for the community and for the ecosystem. It's not a product like for Alephium itself. It's more like a tool to help dApps, to help builders, to help our users, like all the dApp users, to grow together. So that's all about Alph.Land. I don't do any demo today, but we are working very hard to just launch the new version, and I will let you know when it will be live, of course.
Yeah, I think maybe we can get a demo, a quick one in a future episode if you're up for
Yeah,
it, Carla.
nice.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I've had a demo. It's looking really good. I know there's still more tweaks to do, but it's all coming together. Shout out YY and Baby because they've been working super hard on it as well. Yeah, so that's coming very soon. Keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye
Yeah.
peeled.
Yeah, sure.
Now,
And I know you wanted, you talked about the events where you went before. Could you talk a bit about this event, and what do you think it was a bit like a failure?
yeah, well, while you guys were slaving away on the Alph.Land updates, I was there in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand, at this event. Honestly, it was a beautiful day. Weather was perfect. It was on the side of a lovely lake, leafy trees. They had a free beer. Could have 5 pints of free craft beer. So, on paper it all sounds great, but there wasn't really anyone there.
Mm.
There was no one really to talk to. It was it was just kind of quiet, but they gave me an attendee bracelet. I just bought the kind of standard ticket, and I looked around and nobody else had this bracelet on. Everybody had a lanyard, right? And I walked around, and some people had speaker, exhibitor, VIP, sponsor, and nobody was an attendee. Nobody was retail. Nobody was just genuinely there because they were interested in learning about these platforms or services. It was just sponsors and speakers all talking to each other. They were people who'd paid for premium packages for exposure, and they were not getting really any exposure. They were just talking to one another. And I'm kind of worried about that. Like it's not good. It wasn't a good sign. I know that for you guys who went to Crypto Auxerre, it was a lot quieter than last year.
Mm.
It's the market. It's a really clear reflection of where the crypto market is right now. We all know prices are down. We all know it's in a tough time. It's not as brutal as crypto winter, but unless something happens, we could be heading that direction. So realistically, unless something good happens and changes, Web3 event's going to have a really, really rough year,
Yeah.
and it's making me reconsider which events I want to go to this year, if any, if there's no
Yeah.
change.
Something also it's important maybe to say to our community, it's like this year we're not gonna spend lots of funds forward to going to some new events. Like for example, Pepper went to this event because he is really close, and we went to CryptoXer because we are really close. So everyone should try to go to some events in their zone and in their close to them, and like that we don't spend lots of funds doing some events, in part especially because it's quiet at this time. So yeah, I understand it's complicated for when it's complicated in the market, it's complicated for events about crypto.
Yeah, and just for transparency, like I kind of predicted that this event wouldn't be that big, because the marketing was less than last year. It just wasn't making much noise. There were no side events planned. So I paid for my own flights and accommodation, and Alephium bought my event ticket, which was like $75. So the spend on that event was very low. We really want to get great ROI out of events. We don't just want to go for the sake of it. If we could rather be at our desk doing good work, then that's more important. But when good events come along, and the market's good and there's an opportunity, then we'll see. We have to evaluate it. Also up for evaluation is the Alephium ecosystem. Carla, this is probably
Right.
my favorite part of the show because I get to sit back and listen for a few minutes and rest my voice.
All right, let's go.
Woohoo! Yes! Alephium assembled!
So honestly, this one feels a bit different from the previous week because we're clearly moving out of the holiday, and we are in a phase where things are actually moving. So let's start. Let's start with Linx. Because this is a big one, maybe this is my favorite one, but Linx is now live on mainnet. I think when we record the last episode, it was not the case. They just went on mainnet few days after the record. So the season 1 is officially underway. What matters most here is not just the launch itself, but what's come right after. People are actually using the app, swapping, lending, borrowing, and season 1 is really designed to reward real activity, not just passive behavior. And we have already seen a strong signal. In just 1 week, Linx crossed 100k TVL, so it's really round of applause for Linx. They build really fast and they deliver, and it's cool. I have tested their app. I have myself, put some Alph to lend and borrow, so that's really cool. At this stage, it's not just about big numbers, but it's all about momentum, trust, and all users choosing to deploy capital on Alephium. Add to that the fact that the season 1 is completely fee-free, and you really lower the friction for people to test, to learn, to engage. It's a super app, so it's really easy to use. They have integrated the bridge. You can swap, you can do whatever you want on their app, and that's really easy. I love it. Now, something less visible but just as important, no trust verify. They recently shipped new code to the Alephium toolkit with improvement like message signing, better multi-sig time lock handling, and additional developer utilities. This kind of work rarely gets hype, but it's foundational. Better toolings means better developer experience, and better developer experience means more sustainable building over the time. Quick words on present protocol. You talk it before Pepper, but I just wanted to say that presence keeps evolving, and beyond the feature update, what I like is that it's already being used in practice. We used it, as you said, Pepper, for the latest Aura and Alephium mix space with Hayden. So it's really cool to see a use case in practice and not just theoretical stuff. They also introduced event series, which make a lot of sense for recurring spaces, meetups, and conferences. So that's really good. Another signal this week as a strategic partnership between Elexium and Alph.Land. This is a good example of how ecosystem projects can actually compound together, shared utility, payment option, post-ID electing, and concrete benefits for token holders. So that's nice, to see like two of our dApps just collaborated. This is not, like just cosmetic update. There are really long-term alignment mechanism that they put in place together. On the NFT side, Deadware pushed a major UI refactor and design refresh. So this is one of those updates that prepare the ground for what's coming next. I know that the NFT is not the hype today, but if the hype come back and if we find good use cases, we will have the right dApp and the right NFT marketplace to just have lots of different NFT sales and so on. And these updates make the platform cleaner today and ready, for bigger features maybe tomorrow for the future and so on. And just to close the loop, because I know I talked a lot today, on Aura. So they enabled bridge deposit via Ethereum Sepolia, allowing users to move their USDT between Ethereum and Aura using the integrated bridge. So, it's a small step on the paper, but very important one in terms of testing for the full cross-chain flow and onboarding experience ahead of mainnet. So if you zoom out a bit, the picture is clear. We are seeing apps launching and being used. That's the most important. Capital starting to move. Tooling and infra is getting super strong, and ecosystem project working together instead of in silo. So this is exactly the kind of foundation you want, before scaling. Less noise, more execution, and the direct pushing.
Yeah, it's all pushing in a good way. I love to
Yeah.
see it all come together. So yeah, thank you, Carla, for all of your hard work, kind of nurturing these projects, guiding them in a good direction, and helping them collaborate as well. Working in silos, especially when the ecosystem's so important, wasn't a good strategy, or a lack of strategy, I think. So yeah, I think you're doing fine work. Keep it up. And yeah, on to the last point. I mentioned at the start that we were in the refinement phase. This is based on a tweet we put out last week. If you go to the pinned thread on our X, that's the Road to Core dApp testnet. We put a weekly update in there, plus other stuff if it's particularly relevant to the Core dApp. Now, at the end of the last post, it would be 2 posts ago probably for you guys watching this, we did reveal that we are now internally testing on a private testnet inside the team. So Carla, I think you might have had a play by now. I know Baby's been really engaged with it, loving it, and I am blocking out some time to see if I can help find any bugs. But it looks fantastic. They've put in so much work. It's really impressive. So yeah, we really need to get this right. Although it can look awesome, it needs to make sure that every mechanism works well and works perfectly. So there's still a few things to fix, to improve, but it's getting there. And
Yeah,
as I always
it's just the first test, so it's always when you do an internal testing, the first one is always really tricky because, we could like find some bugs that devs can't find before, and so, but that's really important update. That's a really important phase, to just, okay, before launch a test net and a beta version, something like that. You just want to try to have less bugs, less issues. So we will try, to give like the most feedback we could to our dev team, and then they will fix every issue they can, and then we will launch a test net. But yeah, that take a bit of time, but don't worry, we are working on.
Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, to put things in perspective, there was a time when there was a huge to-do list of what needs to be built for the test net, right? For the decks. We're now at the stage actually where it's flipped, and now there's just a small to-do list of blockers that are stopping us from sharing it, right? So we're just kind of at those final few boxes to tick off to fix, and we are getting really close. So hopefully soon we'll have a date to give you. That would be really cool. But yeah, good things come to those who wait. So on behalf of all the Alephium core team, especially the devs, thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. We know it has been 5 months now since the announcement, but it's going to be worth it. We are very confident it's going to be worth it. So yeah, just keep hanging in there a bit longer. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But in the meantime, go and enjoy Linx app and also Aura's testnet, because they're there to go and engage with. Carla, I think that's about it for this episode. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think that's pretty much for us. Just if you like this episode, please don't forget to comment, to like, and to share. Thanks, Pepper, again for preparing this, and for all your amazing work and all your motivation. It's a pleasure to work with someone like you.
Flattery won't get you anywhere with me. Carla, yeah, thank you for being a great co-host. Now, I'm sure it will be just my luck that 10 minutes after we record this, there'll be some big announcement. But you guys watching a week from now will have already seen it. So hope you all have a wonderful week. Please engage with this video, like, retweet, bookmark, do whatever you need to do, but help us out. That's it from us. Thank you very much. This was Alephium Assemble, episode number 11, flying through them. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Welcome, everyone. This is the first episode.
So excited to have you all here.
สวัสดีครับทุกคนผมชื่อ Pepper เป็นหัวหน้าฝ่ายมาร์เก็ตติ้งของ Blockchain Alephium L1 และผมกำลังจะไปเชียงใหม่เพราะว่าสัปดาห์นี้มีประชุม Blockmountain นะครับและผมเพิ่งรู้ว่างานทั้งหมดจะเป็นภาษาไทยโชคดีที่ผมพูดภาษาไทยได้และยังไม่พูดสมบูรณ์แบบและผมอยากไปหาเพื่อนไม่และช่วยโปรโมท Alephium นะครับคุณไปดูประชุม Blockmountain กับผมได้ถ้าคุณเห็นวิดีโอนี้นะครับและผมมีอีก3 ชั่วโมงและจะไปสนามบินไปหาเครื่องบินนะครับขอบคุณครับ